Welcome, my name is Andrew, and this is Alfa State of Mind. Recently purchased this car just about a month ago, and this is my kind of first look and impressions of it. I test drove this model 2 years ago when I was first looking for a car, and didn't pull the trigger, didn't buy it at the time. But then recently I discovered this one, great miles, perfectly within price range, and I ended up with a 2020 Alfa Romeo Giulia TI Sport. We obviously have the Rosa Red interior with the Alpha White exterior. Current mod list is very short. It's coolant bleed screws from Alfissimo to replace the OEM plastics with stainless steels, and then just a exchanged performance air filter by K&N Filters. This is a car that you drive. You know, everyone can, you know, say what they want to say. The infotainment's old. Oh, the technology inside is lacking. If you buy a car to drive a car, you're gonna want to buy this car because it feels like you're driving a car. It lets you know where the road is. You just got to tell it where you want it to be on the road, and it takes care of everything else for you. I have a good you know, visual and performance mod list built out for this car, between coilovers, exhaust. I want to swap out air intakes again. You know, upgrade quite a few things. Want to do strut bracing, rear strut bracing. There's a whole list of things that I'm looking to do, and it's just finding companies that are willing to see the vision of Alfa Romeo in the United States, because Alfa Romeo's only been back in the United States since 2016. Before that, the last time I believe it was in the United States was 1986. So we had a 30-year hiatus from the brand, and they just came back into the U.S. market with the Giulia, Stelvio, and the Tonale. And I wanted a car that felt the way I like to drive, and could, you know, put me kind of back in my place. I had a 2015 Subaru Impreza before this car, and I mean, granted, it's like 168 horsepower, like 186 torque, I think. You know, so that car wasn't going to win any races anytime soon, but it did me right for 8 years. Just about 8 years. It was like 7 before I got rid of it. But I always felt like the car was kind of missing something, and the Giulia has fulfilled that for me. Especially the TI Sport. You know, it comes with a lot more bells and whistles than the base model. The TI Sport now no longer exists. It is now the Veloce, which instead of containing the 2-liter 4-cylinder has the 2.9-liter. But I didn't want to break the bank to buy a new car, so I ended up with this one. And I can't say it was a bad decision at all. Let you guys see putting the Giulia through its paces, or the Giulia putting me through my paces. It's just so smooth. Now, don't get me wrong, a 2-liter, you know, 4-cylinder turbo is nothing to, you know, it's not the best thing in the world, but it is a gorgeous piece of machinery that is putting out base 280 horsepower, and I believe it's 316 torque. I mean, that's, can't shake a stick at that. It's essentially almost double the horsepower of my previous car. And I can say I've enjoyed every single horse in this car. This car opens it up and it's glad to do so. I know a lot of people will complain, oh, it's only a 2-liter 4-cylinder. With a turbo, the lag is going to be awful. There's no such thing in most modern cars nowadays as turbo lag. A lot of people don't understand that a turbo has to run off of gas compression, though, from your exhaust. So if you aren't putting anything into your engine, essentially, if you're not giving it any gas so it produces exhaust fumes, you're not going to build up any pressure to make the turbo work, or essentially engage and give you that kind of sat in your seat sort of feel. You really have to play with the gears. You know, right now we're only at 2,000 RPMs. So if I wanted to spool this turbo, I'm either going to have to drop some gears and, you know, get my RPMs a bit higher so that we're putting more work into the engine, and then we're going to get that turbo active. Or I could slam my foot to the ground and then wait 5 seconds before the turbo ever engages, because I have to essentially give it more gas to produce more exhaust to get the turbo to spool and produce boost. This is a car that you can't just buy and expect to not have to do anything to it. In your owner's manual, there is a strict set of guidelines telling you when and at what intervals to do what repairs or scheduled maintenance, and you're supposed to follow that. And if you don't, you'll see the repercussions of it. So don't expect it to be, you know, a Toyota Camry that you can run for 15,000 miles on a single oil change and the car's not gonna scream back at you, sort of thing. If you do your maintenance, this car will do everything you ask it to and more. But if you're not someone that's interested in doing the maintenance, don't get this car.